All right, let's get right into it. You know, in the restaurant business, the day really starts hours before the first customer even thinks about walking through the door. And it's so much more than just, flipping on the lights. It's about having a rock-solid playbook. And today, we're going to break down that playbook, turning that chaotic morning routine into your secret weapon for a totally flawless service. This quote from Restaurateur Saib Khan really just hits the nail on the head. And that's really the core of what we're talking about today. I mean, think about it. In a business where a million things can go wrong before you even serve lunch, that first hour, it sets the tone for everything. It's not just some nice fluffy idea. It's absolutely fundamental to winning the day.
So you might be asking, okay, what's the difference between this and just a to-do list? Well, it's huge. A to-do list is reactive, right? You're just checking off boxes. But a playbook is proactive. It's a whole system designed to stop problems before they even have a chance to start. It's what makes sure every single customer gets that same amazing experience. And, maybe just as important, it's what lets you actually breathe when that dinner rush hits.
And that's exactly why this is so critical, because one tiny oversight, one little thing you miss in the morning, can totally snowball into absolute chaos by dinner time. Forgetting to check the credit card reader or missing a sticky spot on the floor might seem like no big deal at 9 a.m., but trust me, at 7 p.m., that small problem has turned into a complete disaster. This playbook, think of it as your insurance policy against that kind of chaos.
Okay, so first things first, setting the scene. A customer's experience with you doesn't start when the food hits the table. No way. It starts the second they walk in that door. That's why your first job of the day is to see your restaurant through their eyes long before they ever get the chance to.
And the playbook breaks this down into 5 key areas, the pillars of ambience. We start with the floors, because that's the very first thing people see. Then, tables and chairs. They got to be clean, sure, but also perfectly aligned. Next up, the restrooms. And we'll talk more about this, but they are a huge signal of trust. Then you've got lighting and music, which is all about creating the right vibe. And last but not least, scent. Probably the most powerful and underrated part of the experience.
All right, let's be real. A dirty restroom can kill a customer's appetite and their trust in your kitchen in a split second. So this checklist, it's totally non-negotiable. Soap, paper, towels, all stocked. Mirrors and sinks, wiped down. And of course, no weird smells. Oh, and here's a great little pro tip from the source. Flush every single toilet once before you open. It's such a small thing, but it can prevent a huge problem later.
And check this out. This is one of those little details that makes all the difference. I mean, anybody can wipe down a tabletop, right? But this move, actually flipping a chair over to check the legs for dust or stickiness, that's what separates the pros from the amateurs. It's a tiny little thing, but it sends this powerful signal about how much you care. And customers feel that, even if they don't consciously notice it. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. It's not enough for your place to be clean, it has to feel right. You can see the difference here. On one side, you've got this harsh, sterile vibe with chemical smells. It feels like a clinic. But on the other, it's warm, it's welcoming. You want that flattering light that makes people and food look great, music that's just right in the background, and of course, the amazing smell of delicious food. Okay, so the front of house is looking pristine. Now it's time to head back to the engine room, the kitchen. I love that metaphor. If the dining room is the face of the restaurant, the kitchen is its heart and soul. And if that engine isn't fired up and ready to go, the whole ship is basically dead in the water. And the kitchen playbook is just as organized. You can bet on that. Step 1 is always sanitation. Every single surface gets wiped down and is ready for action. Next, you do a deep dive into cold storage. This is for food safety and for inventory. Then, and this is so important, you power up all the equipment. Get it humming early. And finally, you get yourself organized for any deliveries that are coming in. Now, that cold storage check, this is absolutely mission critical. We're not just talking about being tidy here. This is all about food safety. You're checking temps, you're logging them, you're checking every single label. And you live by the #1 rule. When in doubt, throw it out. Seriously. And that tip about the whiteboard, it's genius. It's such a simple, real-time way to track what you're low on so you don't get that awful surprise mid-service. I absolutely love this idea. A silent machine in the kitchen is a problem just waiting to bite you. The point here isn't just to preheat your ovens, it's to turn everything on so you can listen. That weird little clanky noise you hear at 10 in the morning, that's a pretty easy fix. But that same noise at 7 p.m. on a Saturday, that's a full-blown crisis that could take down your whole line. Okay, the kitchen is humming, the dining room is set. Now it's time to sync the command center, all your front-of-house tech. This is the absolute nerve center of the operation, where payments, orders, reservations, everything comes together. And if there's even a tiny glitch here, the whole customer experience can feel clunky and, frankly, unprofessional.
So this sync-up has 5 parts. First, you test the brain of the operation, the POS system. Then you set up your cash drawer. You got to prep all the physical service stations so your servers aren't hunting for spoons later. Then you review all your reservations so you know what the day is going to look like. And finally, you double-check those invisible lifelines, your internet and your payment systems.
And here it is, the golden rule for any restaurant technology. Never assume. Just because it worked perfectly last night doesn't mean it's going to work today. You have to verify. Run a quick test order to make sure the kitchen printer is working. Run a $1 dummy charge to make sure you can actually, get paid. This 2-minute check will save you from an hour of that tech-fueled panic we've all felt. And let's face it, technology will fail, and it will always fail at the worst possible moment. That's why you absolutely have to have a backup plan. This shows it perfectly. When your digital systems go down, your POS, your card readers, you need to be able to switch to your analog backups instantly. I'm talking a printed menu, a pad for handwritten orders, a cash box. The source actually talks about taking orders by candlelight during a power outage, and they pulled it off because they were prepared. That's the difference.
So, we've prepped the physical space, we've synced up all the tech, but the last piece of the puzzle, and honestly the most important one, is the people. You can have the most perfect setup in the world, but it means nothing without a team that's motivated and on the same page. This final step is how you turn a group of staff into an absolute powerhouse.
And your number one tool for that? The pre-shift huddle. And just look at this definition. It's not just a meeting to pass on info. It's a short, 5 to 10 minute, distraction-free meeting. That means no phones. The whole point is to sync up everyone's hearts and minds so you're all moving as one unit, focused on the same mission for the shift.
A good huddle has to be fast and focused. You hit the key points and move on. You cover today's forecast, how many covers, any big bookings. You talk about the food, any specials, and just as important, anything you've 86'd. You call out any VIPs or special celebrations so the team can make someone's day. And you align on a service goal like a specific upsell strategy.
Here is another fantastic little management tip. In the middle of the huddle, just toss out a quick knowledge check question. Ask a server about a specific ingredient in a sauce or a good wine pairing. The point isn't to catch someone off guard, it's to keep everyone sharp and build a culture where everyone is always learning, so they can answer any guest question with confidence. And this is such a powerful line to share with your team. Remember, every table we serve today is writing our next review. Wow, that just puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? It's a reminder that every single table, every interaction matters. It connects what they're doing right now directly to the restaurant's future. It's about shared responsibility. And to wrap up that huddle, you give the team a little ownership, a small daily challenge. Something simple like, hey, let's try to beat yesterday's dessert sales. It creates this amazing momentum. It turns the shift from just being a job into a kind of game you're all playing together. It builds energy and that shared sense of purpose right before the doors open. And really, that's what this all boils down to. When those doors finally open, are you just reacting to whatever the day throws at you, or are you truly ready for it? This whole playbook is designed to make sure you're the latter. When you have a system like this, you're not just waiting for fires to put out. You've anticipated, you've prepared, you are ready. You're in control.